serious, what conspiracy theory do you actually believe is true? I believe Edward II escaped and went to Italy. He was not laid to rest at his very public funeral. His son, Edward III, had reason to believe his father was alive, and there is some truth to the Fieschi letter. Mostly I think Edward III's relations with the Pope convinced me. I also think the circumstances of the funeral arrangements were pretty suspicious. The variety of deaths Edward II was rumored to die don't exactly convince me he died at Berkeley Castle. Oh, and there's a part of Italy with an oral tradition that they once had an English king for some years. I wanted to say this is very interesting. And also it's such a seemingly obscure and inconsequential topic that people won't have much to say about it, which I find unfortunate. Kudos nonetheless, and now I have something to read about. Conspiracies are being actively manufactured and promoted as a way to hide actual bad stuff. These days it is hard to actually hide something. A single leak and everything is all over the internet next day. However, if you make sure that internet is full of conspiracy theories, it is easy to dismiss any leak as more nutjob stuff. If MKUltra leaked today, would anybody except for most hardcore conspiracy theorists believe it? The truth is often crazier than most theories. r/nottheonion. People are taught wrong information about nutrition on purpose. This is actually true. The food triangle we were all taught in school was mass marketing of wrong information. Yes. Fill up on carbs, but not sugar because, wait, refined carbs have actually caused me some serious health problems in life, not obesity. I have chronic headaches and an inflammatory condition, both of which improved significantly when I cut out all refined carbs. I was experiencing daily headaches for over a month that I suspected were related to processed/refined carbs, but hadn't quite gotten enough motivation to test it out. I finally got some Botox just to see if that would help, and it did. But I don't want to treat symptomatically forever. Would you mind sharing any information on the steps you took to cut things out, and what you do/don't eat? The 2016 Turkish coup d'etat attempt was planned by Erdogan. It was such a badly organized coup that failed so easily, while Erdogan's support was on peak. No way someone else planned this coup with the goal to succeed. The coup made it possible for Erdogan to crack down on any opposition as well as unpleasant journalists or just anyone who was in his way. Surprised this one appeared so low. I fully believe this. I thought it was already accepted as truth even in the news here, France. When it happened, everybody blamed Erdogan. If the government are planning a conspiracy, they first fund a really terrible movie about the government doing it. So anyone discovering the truth will be told you just described the plot of a lousy 1980s film that went straight to VHS and laughed at. I could believe that Epstein would kill himself. I could believe that the guards had been online not doing their job of checking on him. I could believe that the cameras in a very important prisoner cell went out of service. There is no possible way all these things happened on their own at the exact same time. M16 had a saying, once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, three times is enemy action. I don't think there was a camera in his cell. The non-functioning camera was outside his cell. YTF does someone on suicide watch not have a camera in his cell? Apps track your location, even if you have the permission turned off. Pretty sure this was not only confirmed, but that some of those app companies got sued and fined for it. They probably just have to pay a small fine to keep doing it. We'll find back $em a few $1,000s to do things that pay them millions. That'll show back $em. You are absolutely correct. Fines are usually so low that it makes more sense financially to keep breaking the law because they save/earn much more money. Britney Spears is being controlled by the people around her. I don't usually believe in such crazy theories, but there's just something about this one that makes me believe it. She looks and acts like a prisoner, and she's said and done a lot of questionable things. I know it's a crazy one, and I really hope it's not true, but that woman looks so broken. Isn't this proven? To a degree at least. Her father controls all of her funds etc already. I'm pretty sure it is. I follow some at least somewhat credible Free Britney Instagram pages, and they post a lot of news articles, history of the conservatorship, and even the court transcripts. The transcripts I've seen state that Britney wants to stay in the conservatorship, but she wants out of her dad's control and possibly that other chick, Lau I think, too. It's even been insinuated in court documents that she doesn't control her social media either. It would definitely explain all the bizarre posts she makes. It really bums me out that the court wouldn't let her get the conservatorship transferred to her sister at the very least. What happens when her dad passes? More rhetorical, but I'm sure there's a process. It's just absurd to me that a hugely famous pop queen is being basically imprisoned in her oven life. I truly can't understand it. As of late, her conservatorship has received media attention, and her fans and even some celebrities have proclaimed Free Britney. While I know a judge has to remain as unbiased as possible when making these rulings, the court of public opinion will still have an effect, yet it hasn't on the judge or judges she's gotten. Now, I don't know all the cold hard facts like the courts do, but on a higher level, why does a 37-year-old woman need to be controlled at every aspect of her life? It makes zero sense to me. I believe that the societal norm of the American lawn was propagated to keep us from growing food on our property and keep us consuming. This is kinda true. The idea of a lawn filled with grass and other non-edible plants was perpetuated by social elites in the United States and elsewhere to show others that they were so rich they didn't need to grow their own food. Essentially, they could afford to waste space. If the United States has succeeded in anything, it's the democratization of conspicuous consumption. The reason why art is so expensive is because it can be used to bribe and launder money. The extremely wealthy inflate the prices on purpose. Googled wealth storage art is one of the most tax walkarounds. I knew about this, but never really got it until we watched Tenet the other night. I googled it after watching the movie and fell down a crazy rabbit hole all about free ports and how they're used. That shit is wild. You gotta watch Ozark on Netflix. Then, oh I have, great show BTW. And I definitely understood it in that context. But free ports are a completely different thing. The idea of hiding wealth in various forms in plain sight all while dodging import tariffs and taxes is just nuts. Edit. Actually, now that I think about it, Ozark is a really good parallel to that. Good call. Hot dog companies and hot dog bun companies agreed to sell non-matching amounts of their products. When you finish all of your hot dogs you will still have buns left over, so you will go buy hot dogs for those buns, thus perpetuating a never-ending cycle of hot dog eating. Edit. Thank you for the award. I've never gotten one before, but I promise to not let it go to my head and distract me from the important hot dog related work I'm doing. Man puts 2 sausages into a bun. Hot dog suppliers hate him. #TWODOGSONEBUN. After World War II, once Hitler was declared dead and the Nazis were done, a group of Nazis grabbed funds from their banks and fled to an island near Costa Rica. My father grew up moving all sorts of places, but that small town was just Germans. They spoke Spanish, but they were all of the German descent. They said not to go there cause they always said they were descendants of Nazis. I'ma have to ask him about it later. Isn't it common knowledge that tons of Nazis went to Ecuador, for example? There are German schools and everything there with tons of German descendants. Costa Rica doesn't seem unlikely at all. Mostly Argentina, but Costa Rica is plausible too. Women's pockets are so small to help the fashion industry push purses as a necessity and justify high-end/designer ones too. People like John Travolta and Tom Cruise would love to leave Scientology, but the church has something really dark on them. Whatever it is, will probably come to light only after their passing, if then. Edit. Thanks for the awards and really interesting comments. Get vaccinated for COVID when it's possible. I think Tom Cruise at least really enjoys the position he has in Scientology. He can basically get Sea Org members to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Travolta, I think, is a true believer from way back. I don't think this is the only reason, but I think Tom Cruise also likes the fact that the head of Scientology, David Miscavige, is only 5 feet 2. He's probably one of the very few people Tom can stand next to and feel like a friggin' giant. Miscavige sounds like someone with a speech impediment saying miscarriage. That there are many companies and governments who could easily get a full report on everything about you. And I mean everything. From the basic stuff, like where you live, where you are now, and where you work. But also who your friends are, your relationships with them, and a detailed description of your personality. On a TV series about different popular beliefs, they made an episode where they just took the information about a guy they could find online and used it to manipulate him. They got an actor to pretend he was an old friend of the person and that they went to the same school, only using info they could easily look up online. The info a tech company or a government could get on you is way more detailed. TL. Doctor, tech companies and the government know way more about you than you do. And if they wanted to, they could make you believe anything. Seriously, FBI, please tell me what kind of porn I like, because at this stage I'm really confused. Interspecies flesh scarification for, so, you know, cooking shows. Manuscript Estonia was used to transport military equipment on the night it sank. The wreck was encased in concrete. Recent dives revealed a huge hole in the side. The divers are going on trial for it as it was illegal. This isn't necessarily evidence of a cover-up. The ship is a grade 4 over 800 people. There is an international agreement that forbids visitors to preserve the sanctity of the site. The FBI put this question here to find out which one of us is onto the truth. Also, Epstein didn't kill himself and neither did I after posting this. This exact question gets posted every so often. They really want to know. Siri and Alexa hear your conversations all the time. Well, I hope Jeff Bezos likes hearing me yell at my TV when I lose. Or yell at my professor's Canvas page because he sucks at teaching. Or, of course, listening to me jack it when I'm bored. He ain't getting any valuable info from me. IDK if it's conspiracy so much as theory, but I believe that the painter Walter Sickert was in fact Jack the Ripper because 1. They found that he had papers from the exact same remover as the paper used to send the Jack the Ripper letters. 2. He literally painted a painting called Jack the Ripper's bedroom, indicating an intimate relationship with the Ripper. 3. Some of his artwork shows people sitting, lying, sprawled out in unnatural ways, specifically the exact same ways that some of Jack the Ripper's victims were laid out for. And also because there is one painting that almost perfectly emulates the murder scene, except that instead of a red slash on her neck, where Jack the Ripper cut her throat, she has a necklace. All this combined with the general discomfort I get when I look at his art points to a very disturbed mind. I believe he was at the very least Jack the Ripper's accomplice, if not Jack the Ripper himself. Edit. I know that these things aren't conclusive, and I'm sure there are other theories that probably have more / better evidence, or whatever. This is just what I personally believe, based on what I currently know. Please don't tell me I'm stupid or stuff like that. Thank you. Anyone who has a different idea, if you want to plead your case, go for it. Just know it probably won't change my mind. As an artist and fan of art history, I find this story most compelling, and his art speaks in a way that I can't see from other suspects. Don't know the case enough, but he maybe was a secret admirer. Maybe the things he painted weren't public. In that case, it's definitely weird that the dead badgers you see on roads haven't been run over, but have been shot and dumped by farmers to stop them infecting their cattle with TB. The only thing I can say against it is that there aren't many cows where I live. The pheasant are definitely roadkill though. Those things are fucking idiots. I've seen them dart out into the road and play chicken. It's because they know the bit of road they've traveled was safe, but not what's ahead. So instead of carrying on running, they try running back the safe way, at least that's what I read. Sam Burgess, rugby league player, wasn't medically retired. He was about to be caught and suspended due to drug use, and was back quote medically retired as a way to get him off the salary cap and avoid a scandal. Epstein didn't kill himself. His death and the events around it were way too suspicious. 100% agreed. The guards said they cut him down. But the rope wasn't cut. The camera wasn't working. He was murdered to cover up for other elites, and the most shameful thing about it all is they're going to get away with it. Just like the Panama Papers. 100% agreed. I think there definitely is a chance he killed himself. After watching the Netflix documentary, dude was a huge narcissist that was finally facing long-term punishment after years of getting away with his sadistic shit, and would rather ended his life on his own terms. I think the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell is still alive, and if she stays alive and is sentenced, makes the likelihood that he killed himself much higher. She was basically as involved as he was. CIA being in drug smuggling business to finance their other illegal businesses. US government is doing illegal human experiments. Movie industry is full of pedophiles and perverts. Last one about the movie industry, it's just a fact. Also, the government has done medical experiments in the past. From infecting black men with syphilis to unleashing viruses in a New York subway. It is not a stretch to think it would not happen again. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.